Forget everything you know about recreational vehicles. What if I told you that someone actually bolted a massive camper to the roof of a tiny Volkswagen Beetle, or cut a van in half just to shove a 28-foot boat inside? The golden age of retro travel was completely unhinged. Today, we are exposing 10 of the most bizarre, physics-defying, and downright illegal-looking vintage mobile homes that you will not believe actually exist. These are not your grandpa's boring trailers. These are Frankenstein road monsters born from pure, unfiltered insanity. You absolutely need to see the mind-blowing land yacht we saved for last. Do not click away, because the weirdness only escalates from here. Hit that subscribe button right now to join our crazy automotive adventures and let us hit the road. 129 words. Imagine cruising down the highway and seeing a tiny classic Volkswagen Beetle towing an absolutely massive camper trailer. The kicker is that the trailer is not attached to a standard rear bumper hitch. Instead, it is hooked directly to the roof of the little bug. This mind-bending contraption is known as the Harmon Shadow Trailer System. Paired with a 1974 Beetle, it became a viral sensation. Harmon Industries wanted economical cars of the fuel crisis era to become ultimate road trip machines, defying traditional towing physics completely. By placing the hitch squarely on the roof, the weight was distributed evenly across the center of gravity. This allowed the car to maintain traction. The most insane feature was the 360-degree turning capability, allowing the Beetle to spin completely underneath the overhang. Inside, it featured a sleeping area above the car, a compact kitchenette, and a small dining space. However, your low-horsepower engine worked incredibly hard just to maintain 55 miles per hour, making it a very loud and wind-sensitive ride. Finding an original Harmon Shadow trailer with a complete roof-mounted hitch system is incredibly rare today. A well-preserved setup can command upwards of $30,000 to $40,000 at specialized automotive auctions. It represents an era where fuel economy met wild innovation. While it might not be the fastest way to travel, it guarantees you will be the absolute center of attention at every campsite. But if towing from a roof is strange, wait until you see a camper fused directly onto the actual chassis. Welcome to the weird world of the Volkswagen Superbugger. If the Harmon Shadow was about clever towing, this was about total commitment. In the 1970s, independent builders in California wanted a motorhome with decent gas mileage. They took standard Beetles, chopped off the curved bodywork from the windshield back, and grafted a boxy fiberglass and wood camper shell directly onto the floor pan. The result looks exactly like someone dropped a tiny square house squarely onto a cartoon car, featuring a totally flat vertical rear-end design. Underneath this bulky exterior, the Superbugger retained the stock 4-cylinder air-cooled engine. You are moving a small apartment with under 60 horsepower. Driving it feels like pushing a brick wall through the wind. Inside, it is a glorious time capsule of 1970s design. The living quarters are incredibly snug, featuring shag carpeting, wood-paneled walls, a 2-burner stove, and a dinette that converts into a bed. There is no bathroom, but the cab area still feels exactly like a classic vintage Volkswagen Beetle. When first introduced, a brand new conversion cost a few $1,000s. Today, these quirky little machines have a massive cult following among vintage camper collectors. Because only a couple of hundred ever existed, a restored Superbugger can easily fetch between $30,000 and $40,000. It offers a hilarious, slow, and incredibly charming way to explore the outdoors. However, if the Superbugger is still too big for your tastes, our next vintage marvel is so impossibly tiny you might lose it completely. Say hello to the Eriba Puck, quite possibly the most compact travel trailer ever produced. Originating in Germany in the late 1950s, it was designed by aircraft engineer Eriba Puck. People wanted to travel but drove low-powered microcars. Traditional caravans were simply too heavy. His solution applied aviation engineering to create a trailer that was highly aerodynamic, built with a tubular steel frame covered in an aluminum skin. It was a masterclass in minimalist design, born out of necessity to explore Europe on practically 0 horsepower. The specifications are mind-boggling. Early models weighed in at around 500 pounds, lighter than some modern touring motorcycles. Designed to be incredibly low to the ground to reduce wind resistance, it featured a signature pop-top roof. You simply push the center up to reveal a canvas tent section for standing room. Despite measuring just over 13 feet long, it squeezed in a two-person bed, a tiny gas stove, and a microscopic sink. It was the ultimate tiny home long before the tiny home movement. Living in an Eriba Puck requires a serious commitment to minimalism, as every single item must have a specific purpose. Today, these charming little German pods have become highly sought-after vintage treasures worldwide. An original Puck can sell for anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000. They are prized because you can tow them with almost any vehicle on the road today, including small electric cars. But while the Puck focused on being tiny, our next European camper focused on looking like a flying saucer. Enter the Constructam Condor, a Belgian masterpiece of camper design that looks like it belongs on the moon rather than a campground. Produced primarily in the 1960s, Constructam caravans were renowned for their radical departure from boxy trailers. The founders built a caravan that was completely unmistakable on the road. They achieved this using a steel chassis, a lower metal body, and a sweeping aerodynamic upper roof constructed entirely from molded fiberglass. The Condor features a distinct bulbous front end with heavily raked wraparound panoramic glass windows. The engineering of the Condor was heavily focused on towing stability. The aerodynamic shape allowed it to cut through the air efficiently, making it highly popular among European travelers traversing windy mountain passes. Inside, the massive front windows completely transformed the experience. The interior felt exceptionally bright and directly connected to nature. Quirks included beautifully crafted curved wooden cabinetry that matched the rounded contours of the shell. It featured a rear dinette converting to a bed, a central kitchen, and a front seating area under those massive windows. Today, the Constructam Condor is a rare sight in the United States, making it a highly prized import for dedicated collectors. Its striking looks and high-quality build mean that a fully restored Condor can command prices upwards of $20,000 to $30,000. Living in one feels like stepping back into the optimistic space race era, where the future of travel looked sleek, rounded, and full of glass. While Europe built aerodynamic fiberglass pods, Americans were perfecting the art of the teardrop with a weird twist. If you attended any American campground in the 1960s, you almost certainly saw a Serro Scotty Sportsman. Founded in 1957 in Pennsylvania, the Scotty trailers were designed to provide affordable, lightweight camping for the American middle class. What makes the Sportsman bizarre and iconic is its unmistakable silhouette. Instead of a standard box or a smooth teardrop, it features a radical drop-down rear profile. The roofline slopes down toward the back and then steps down sharply to reduce weight and aerodynamic drag while towing. Known by their famous puppy dog logo, these trailers were incredibly cheap to buy back in the day, often costing under $1,000 brand new. They were built simply with basic wood framing and thin aluminum siding. Because of the stepped roofline, the interior layout had to be perfectly orchestrated. The bed was tucked into the lower rear section, creating a cozy sleeping area, while the kitchen sat up front where the roof was highest. They lacked heavy insulation, but owners loved them for their pure simplicity. Fast forward to today, and the Serro Scotty Sportsman has experienced a massive resurgence in popularity. They are considered the ultimate entry-level vintage camper restoration project. Because they were built so simply, well-kept survivors are surprisingly valuable. A beautifully restored canned ham-style Scotty can now sell for $15,000 to $20,000. They represent a pure slice of mid-century American family vacations. But if the Scotty was the practical family camper, our next trailer boldly decided a camper simply needed a pair of wings. When you think of classic 1960s Americana, you think of tail fins on Cadillacs and the incredibly iconic Shasta Airflyte. Introduced in 1961, the Airflyte took the standard rounded camper shape that literally looked like a tin of ham and injected it with pure jet-age swagger. The designers bolted a pair of gleaming silver swept-back wings onto the rear upper corners. These wings served absolutely no aerodynamic purpose whatsoever, but that bizarre design choice made it one of the most universally beloved American travel trailers. Underneath the flashy exterior, the Airflyte maximized a small footprint. Ranging typically from 12 to 16 feet, they were built with sturdy wood frames and wrapped in ribbed aluminum siding, often painted in striking two-tone pastel colors. Inside, the quirks continued with genuine birchwood paneling, gleaming stainless steel appliances, and Formica countertops featuring retro boomerang patterns. The layout cleverly hid a fold-out bed in the rear and a dinette in the front, surrounded by classic jalousie crank windows that provided excellent cross-ventilation for the occupants. The current value of a Shasta Airflyte is a testament to its legendary status. They are so incredibly popular that the company actually released a limited edition modern replica recently. However, true vintage purists will always pay top dollar for the originals. A pristine early 60s model with its original wings intact can easily sell for $25,000 to $40,000. It is a delightfully nostalgic time machine. But if the Shasta was a diner on wheels, our next entry is a gleaming silver spaceship ready for orbit. Behold the Silver Streak Clipper, an absolute titan of vintage luxury travel. Often mistakenly identified as an Airstream, the Silver Streak is actually its own distinct and deeply respected lineage. Founded in 1949, the company set out to build the absolute highest quality travel trailer on the market. The Clipper model utilizes authentic aircraft-grade construction techniques, featuring riveted aluminum panels over a lightweight frame. It features a distinct golden anodized stripe down the side and a sharper, more pronounced front end, looking incredibly aggressive and futuristic. The specifications were at top of the line. While other campers used cheap wood, the Silver Streak was engineered to outlast its owners. The heavy-duty aircraft construction meant it was incredibly durable but light enough to tow comfortably behind a powerful classic car. Interior quirks included gorgeous hand-finished real wood cabinetry, offering a warm contrast to the cold aluminum exterior. It featured premium appliances, a full bathroom, and complex curved glass windows, offering incredible panoramic views. It was designed for wealthy individuals crossing the country in total comfort. Because of their vastly superior build quality, a surprising number of Clippers have survived to this day. A fully polished, meticulously restored Silver Streak from the 1950s is a high-end luxury item. They often command prices between $50,000 and $90,000, depending on the level of modern customization hidden inside. It is a glittering monument to mid-century American engineering and opulent travel. But what if you wanted your entire house permanently bolted to the back of a massive, heavy-duty industrial hauling truck? Welcome to the intimidating and majestic world of the Chevrolet cab-over-engine motorhome. This design was primarily used for heavy-duty commercial delivery trucks in the 1940s and 50s. The front cab sits entirely on top of the engine block, resulting in a massive vertical grille and a towering driving position. Eccentric, wealthy individuals realized this heavy-duty chassis was the perfect foundation for a massive custom luxury motorhome. Builders combined the sheer industrial muscle of the truck cab with a beautifully streamlined aluminum camper body built behind it. Nearly every single cab-over-engine motorhome is a one-off custom build, making them incredibly bizarre and unique. They usually utilize a torquey, straight-six engine hauling thousands of pounds of luxury living space. Driving one feels exactly like driving a vintage semi-truck, featuring no power steering and a bone-rattlingly stiff suspension. The interiors reflect the wild tastes of the original commissioner. Many feature dark mahogany woods, full-sized residential appliances, and layouts that look more like an old Hollywood train car than a traditional road camper. Because each custom camper is a unique piece of automotive art, pricing them is incredibly difficult. They are massive, imposing, and command absolute respect on the highway. When one of these custom mid-century land yachts does appear at a high-end auction, they can easily fetch anywhere from $100,000 to over $250,000. They are the ultimate expression of vintage heavy-duty luxury. But as massive as this truck is, it still obeys basic automotive laws. Our next vehicle absolutely does not. Prepare yourself for the Dymaxion car, a vehicle so bizarre it genuinely looks like a mistake in human history. Designed in 1933 by legendary inventor Buckminster Fuller, it was an 11-passenger transport vehicle envisioned as the first stage of a flying car. He dreamed of vehicles that could drive, float, and eventually fly. The Dymaxion featured a highly aerodynamic teardrop-shaped body looking exactly like a wingless zeppelin on wheels. It was 20 feet long, boasted a cavernous interior, and was designed for highly efficient cross-country travel. The technical facts are absolutely wild. It only had 3 wheels, with 2 fixed wheels in the front and a single pivoting wheel in the absolute rear that handled all the steering. A Ford flathead V8 engine was mounted in the back, driving the front wheels. This meant it steered exactly like a forklift going backward. The interior was remarkably spacious for families. However, at high speeds, the single rear steering wheel would lose traction, making the vehicle completely uncontrollable. A fatal crash effectively killed the project's momentum entirely. Only 3 original Dymaxion cars were ever built in the 1930s. Today, only one survives, housed safely in the National Automobile Museum in Nevada. Because it is a priceless piece of automotive history, it is completely uninsurable and essentially invaluable. Replicas have been built by dedicated enthusiasts, costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to engineer from scratch. It remains a fascinating, terrifying glimpse into a future of travel that never quite happened. If you thought a Zeppelin car was weird, brace yourself for our grand finale from the 80s. Behold the magnificent, ridiculous, and legendary motorhome. It is half van, half boat, and 100% pure 1980s excess. Created by Highwave Motorhome 2000, it was designed to solve the hassle of unloading your boat from a standard trailer. They took a heavy-duty Ford Econoline van, cut off the back half, and fabricated a custom front-wheel drive chassis. This allowed a massive 28-foot fiberglass cabin cruiser boat to drive straight into the back of the van, forming a seamless 36-foot street legal motorhome. The technical execution is mind-blowing. The boat itself is powered by a massive inboard marine engine, usually a 260-horsepower Mercury cruiser, capable of hitting 40 miles per hour on the water. The van section retains its powerful Ford V8 engine to haul the massive weight on land. When the boat is attached to the van, you can literally walk from the driver's seat directly into the cabin of the boat. It features a marine kitchen, dining area, bathroom, and comfortable sleeping quarters for the whole family. Only 21 motorhomes were ever manufactured before production ceased, making them incredibly rare unicorns today. They are the ultimate flex at any lake or car show. Finding one for sale is nearly impossible, but when they do change hands, a fully functional motorhome can easily sell for well over $100,000. It seamlessly blends highway cruising with luxury boating. It is the absolute pinnacle of bizarre mobile home engineering, proving that sometimes the craziest ideas in automotive history are actually the most awesome and incredibly fun to drive. And there you have it, 10 of the most bizarre, physics-defying, and wildly creative vintage mobile homes to ever hit the road. From the roof-towing Volkswagen Beetle to the absolutely insane street-legal boat known as the motorhome, these retro machines prove that the golden age of travel was anything but boring. Which one of these crazy campers is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.